In this video, I'm going to share with you the new Google Ads tips, techniques, and strategies that are working really well right now. The Google Ad platform has changed an enormous amount since I first started running Google Ads way back in 2009, and that rate of change isn't going to slow down anytime soon. Us Google advertisers need to adapt with the platform if we want to generate the best possible results, and this video is going to catch you up on the very latest best practices. So tip number one is to increase the specificity of your marketing message. Now, because there's a lot more competition from Google advertisers nowadays, to be honest, there's just more competition from advertisers in general. The average person sees, listens to, etc. a lot more ads than they used to. You need to be more specific with your marketing so that it stands out, so that it cuts through the noise. If someone sees your ad and they go, that thing is perfect for me, that is exactly what I'm looking for, they're far more likely to pay attention, they're far more likely to click, they're far more likely to convert than if it's more generic and it just sort of gets lost in amongst all the other advertising. So the way you do this is you take your target market, you break it down into various subsections, and then you create ads that are specifically targeted at each subsection. Yes, it requires extra time and effort, but it's well worth it. So instead of creating one generic ad for, say, a service that you offer, you go, okay, we can break down everyone who might be interested in the service into 8, 12, however many different subsections, and then let's create ads for each one of those. We think they're likely to speak to that audience more, and when you do that, you almost certainly see a significant improvement in results. So the way to do this practically within your Google Ad account is to take your keywords and break those down into much tighter keyword groupings, more tightly grouped around a theme. So you end up with many more ad groups, and then you can obviously create ads that are more specific to the messaging and the language that is being used for those keywords and the searches that your potential customers are using. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say we're advertising a physiotherapist's business, we're advertising their physiotherapy services. Now, a basic Google advertiser might just lump all the keywords into one ad group that's got physiotherapy services and all the various things people might search for who are looking for physiotherapists, right? Now, what that means is that you're going to have to create ads that are pretty generic and pretty broad, otherwise it's not going to fit with some of the searches that are going to come through an ad group like that. So that's not what I recommend. A more advanced Google advertiser might break that down into ad groups that cover the different services. So instead of just having an ad group that's just broad physiotherapy services and all that, you might have one that's for chronic back pain and has keywords associated with that quite closely, and then ads that focus on chronic back pain. You might have another one that is around sports, injury, rehab, okay? Now what I want you to do is go one stage further than that and take, for example, sports, injury, rehab as an ad group and break that down into the various things that people might be searching for. So as an example, instead of just that broader term, we might have an ad group for people searching for things specific to knee injuries or shoulder injuries or sprained ankles or pulled hamstrings. Like, you could get really granular with the detail. Or you could even search by different activities or different sports. So for example, you could have an ad group around tennis elbow if that's something you can specifically help with. And there are various ways that you can break that down. What that looks like for each business is going to be a little bit different, but the idea here is that if you create an ad that is for rehabbing tennis elbow related issues, okay, and someone is searching for that and that's what they want help with, and your keywords align with that, your ad has that messaging in, and your ad is alongside other ads that are for come to our physio today, really generic stuff, we'll help you out with any injuries you might have, your ad is going to stand out way more. It's far more likely to get the click and it's far more likely to get the conversion because the person who's searching goes, oh, brilliant, yeah, tennis elbow is exactly what I've got. That's what I need help with. I'm going to click on this ad because it looks like these guys are going to be able to help me with my problem. And where consumers or potential customers don't have a lot of information, like they don't have a lot of information about your business, they will use specificity as a proxy for value. As in, if someone is more specific around something, we naturally think they are more likely to be better at it, and we naturally think they are more likely to help us with the issue we have around it. If you go to a generic physiotherapist, are you going to get help with your tennis elbow? Probably. If you go to a physiotherapist that is specifically saying, I help people with tennis elbow, we perceive that person is more likely to solve our problem, and therefore we're more likely to become a customer of theirs. So you're sort of running into the psychology of marketing here, but it's a really important point and one that I really want to emphasize to Google advertisers because it makes a big difference. You can then go one stage further than that even and create separate landing pages for each one of those ad groups. Again, takes time, takes effort, but can massively improve your results. So for each one of those ad groups we run through, like knee injuries, shoulder injuries, sprained ankles, instead of just coming through to the homepage on your website, something generic, imagine if you had a specific landing page that was like, we help with sprained ankles, we've got loads of experience, these are some of the exercises we do, come in and see us, we can have a look, that is likely to convert that much better because the person going through feels like they're in the right place and they have no doubt that you can help them. If they come through to something more generic, then those doubts start to creep in. Point number 2 is to expand campaign types. Now, when people first start advertising on Google, they usually start with the search network, search campaigns only. And that's what I recommend because that's the part that's easiest to understand. It's what most people think of naturally when they think about Google advertising. They think, yeah, you go onto Google, you search for something, ads pop up that are relevant to your search. So you start there, that's great. But once you've done that, you've got a few conversions and Google starts to learn what a conversion looks like in your ad account. It absolutely makes sense to expand into other campaign types and run your ads on all the various other places that you can put Google ads, right? So depending on your business, you could put ads on Google Shopping, those cards at the top when you search for a specific product, those are Google Shopping ads, right? You could put ads on YouTube, you could put ads in Gmail, you could put ads on the display network, which is all over the internet. So there's lots of other opportunities that Google gives you to put ads in front of people that are likely to buy your products, become a lead, etc., all the things that you want. Now, the easiest way to do this by far is to create a Performance Max campaign because a Performance Max campaign incorporates all the various Google ad locations, all the ones I just mentioned and more. So once you've got your search up and running, once you've got a few conversions, definitely get a Performance Max campaign created. I'll include a link in the video description below to another video that shows you how to create Performance Max campaigns and does the full walkthrough. It's a little bit more complicated to set up, but the rewards can be well worth it. We use Performance Max for our clients all the time, and they can deliver fantastic results. Tip number 3 is to stop obsessing over cost per click. A lot of Google advertisers want to generate the lowest cost per click possible because they believe that will result in the best result for their business, and that's not often true. Because Google Ads works with an auction system, keywords that are less expensive, for example, to target, they're usually less expensive for a reason. It's because other advertisers don't value them as highly, because if other advertisers valued them more highly, there'd be more competition.
30,000. Do I have 40,000? 40,000. Thank you, sir. 40,000 now.
People would be willing to pay more, and it would cost more to advertise to people searching for those keywords. So the keywords that are less expensive usually either convert less well than others, or they do convert, but the value of the eventual customer is going to be significantly less. The most expensive keywords to target are often things around insurance and finance. Why? Because the people that click on those ads and go through to purchase from those businesses, from those companies, those customers are potentially going to be worth a lot of money. So that's why you've got varying degrees of costs across keywords, but even within your niche, there's going to be some keywords that are more expensive and some keywords that are less expensive. And I just see so many Google advertisers go after, oh great, that one's less expensive, I'll go after that. And they haven't considered that there's a reason why probably doesn't convert as well. When I'm running Google ads, I often actually want to target the most expensive keywords within a niche. And that's because I know that if we can do a better job of advertising to those keywords than our competitors, so we create better ads, we create better landing pages, we get more conversions, that the result for the business is going to be that much better because these are the most expensive keywords because they convert best, they produce the highest value customers. And if we can just win, if we can beat our competitors there, that's where the best rewards are going to be from a Google ad standpoint, as opposed to trying to get really cheap clicks and sort of convert in the margins, as it were. We want to go for the best possible stuff and just win with those. And that leads to a better overall outcome. I've got some more tips for you in a second. Before I do that, I just want to quickly let you know about our done-for-you Google Ad services. So my agency can create, manage, and optimize your Google Ad campaigns for you. We can take all that workload off your hands and almost certainly get you better results than if you manage your own Google Ad campaigns yourself. If that sounds interesting, there is a link in the video description. You can click on that, go through to a page on our website, or book in a free call with one of my team members. Completely no obligation. You can just find out more about how we can help. Hopefully, we get a chance to work together. Point number 4. Don't be lazy, put more time, effort, and resources into your ad creative. So we've already talked about expanding from the search network and using Performance Max as another campaign type. But when you do that, you need to use other creative assets. It's not just text. You're going to need to add in images, videos, etc. Now, what a lot of Google advertisers will do is they will just use whatever creative assets they have lying around. If the business at some point got a video made that's on the homepage of the website, great, there we go, we've got a video. If there was images from 4 years ago that show the business or show some of the products, great, we'll just go ahead and use those and throw those in there. That's obviously not ideal. If you want the best possible results, you want to put a lot more time, effort, thought into that ad creative, into those video assets, into those image assets, potentially hire professionals to help you out with that, to get stuff created that you're really proud of. that helps your brand, that's going to grab attention, that's far more likely to get the click, far more likely to get the conversion. So what I recommend you do is do that, create a batch of ads, really put a lot more time, effort, resources into it. Like I said, maybe work with a professional, run those, then analyze the data. This is a really important point. Take the time to analyze the data, work out which ones worked, which ones didn't. Why did this work? Why didn't that work? Okay, I think it's because of this. Great. Right, let's create another batch then, based on the information we learned from the first set of analysis. Then you create another batch. Okay, as a whole, this batch did better. These points worked really well, these ones not so. Okay, we've learned again. And then you rinse and repeat, you do that again and again and again. You do that long enough, you're going to end up with fantastic creative assets that can produce amazing results for your business. Takes time, takes effort, takes patience actually to go through that as well, but the rewards are worth it. Tip number 5 is to change bidding strategy. Now, when it comes to your bidding strategy, it is really important to either go with conversion value or conversions. A lot of Google advertisers are still using the old way of doing things. They're still optimizing for clicks, sometimes some other bidding strategies like impression share as well, but most of the people that are doing this wrong are optimizing for clicks. And this ties into one of the previous points where they want as many clicks as possible, they want as cheap as clicks as possible. They think, great, get as many people as possible through to my landing page, through to my website, therefore I'll get as many leads as possible, I'll get as many purchases as possible. It doesn't work like that. Google's much smarter than that as an ad platform. You want to put Google's really powerful AI and optimization systems on your side by telling Google what it is that you want. Remember, when you optimize for clicks, Google's going to try and get you as many clicks as possible, which means they're going to try and get you the cheapest clicks possible, which means a lot of those clicks aren't going to be the highest value. So you actually want to go with either conversion value or conversions. I'll explain which one you want to use. Now, in an ideal world, even out of those two, you would go with conversion value because conversion value assesses the different value in conversions. Let's say you're an e-commerce business. Some people come through to your store and pay $15. Some people come through to your store and buy $150 worth of product. So there's different values in those two customers. Conversion value factors that in, and your Google ad campaign will be willing to pay more to acquire what it thinks will be a higher value customer. And Google's normally right about this stuff because they have so much data and very smart AI that can work all this out. So whilst you may see less conversions with conversion value as opposed to the conversions bidding strategy, the overall return on ad spend is likely to be better because that conversion value has been factored in. If, however, you don't have differing conversion values, as in everyone who buys from you, it's just one thing, you only have the one product, it's the same price point for everyone, then go ahead and go with conversions because it doesn't make any difference. But if you're not in that scenario, which most businesses aren't, go with conversion value as opposed to conversions. But the really, really important thing here is that you go with one of those two and you don't go with a click optimization. So you can take advantage of Google's really smart systems to get you the best return on ad spend possible. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's the profitability of your campaigns, not how many people your campaigns simply send through to your landing page. Number 6, take advantage of Google's AI tools, but don't rely on them. So built within Google's ad campaign creation process, Google will ask you for a bunch of information, and it will use that, and it will use AI to then create suggestions for things like keywords, ad copy, all that sort of stuff. Absolutely use this. When you go through a campaign creation process, input the stuff that Google wants you to input and see what Google comes up with, see what it generates, like I said, for keywords, ad copy and stuff like that. But I have seen a trend where advertisers have gotten lazy and they're just using that stuff without giving it any thought. And what you'll find is that Google will give you lots of suggestions, that AI will generate lots of ads, lots of keywords, and you need to be the filter. You need to go through each thing and think, okay, yeah, that's good, that's not so good, that's not so good, that's good, that's good. And if you don't do that, you'll have some really good elements and you'll have some elements that just don't make sense, don't quite work, aren't the right tone for your brand, just miss the mark. Even I've seen ad campaigns, Google ad campaigns, where the AI has created ads that are promoting something that doesn't even really apply to what the business does. Again, some of this stuff is really good, so absolutely use it, just not all of it is. You need to be the filter. So don't think of these AI tools as something that can remove you as an advertiser. Think of it more as this stuff saves me time, saves me brain power, but it doesn't remove me as a Google advertiser, doesn't remove any need for any input. You still have to be the filter and make sure you don't include things that don't really make sense. Number 7, properly optimize your website and landing pages for Google Ads. Now, most Google advertisers obsess over their ads on the platform, and that makes sense, right? I understand why they do that. But they forget to put time, effort, resources into what people do after they click on your ads. But obviously, those next steps, they're really important in convincing someone to either convert or not. The rest of your sales funnel, the rest of your leads funnel really matters. So you shouldn't be in a scenario where you're putting 99% of your total marketing effort into your Google Ads themselves and then only 1% left on your landing page, your website, or maybe even none because your website was just made and you think, oh, I'll just send people there. I don't need to think about it. Don't need to optimize this for Google Ads. And that is a mistake. In fact, to make it as easy as possible for you to optimize your landing pages and your website for Google Ads, I created this video that shows you the most important things you need to get right on your landing pages and the most important things you need to avoid on your landing pages, which can often be more of an issue when it comes to getting the best possible Google Ad results. If you want to do that, go ahead and check it out.